Hi, obviously I'm not an artist, and in this log I'm going to be displaying and discussing issue 18 of Hachette's Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Issue 18 comes with the second part of the second batch of 11 Tyranid bioforms, 10 termagants and 1 Ripper Swarm. And this has been completed, so what to do? If you watch the last log, log 17, in it I completed a Tyranid Hive Tyrant that came in the first delivery of the Combat Patrol premium kits. The second mini in that delivery was a Brutalis Dreadnought, and here it is in Blood Angel colours. This can take a spin as I dip back into the issue. The issue opens with the How to Paint guide to painting the termagants, 4 pages in fact, on base coating with all current paints. Hive worlds, which have been mentioned several times in other Obviously I'm Not an Artist videos, are displayed here. They are planets of impossibly large and often ancient cities, not too dissimilar to the megacities of the Judge Dredd comic books. With all the problems of these two, specifically the crime. In fact, Games Workshop have a spin-off game called Necromunda, set in the Hive city of, well, Necromunda. Unfortunately, I've never played it, so I can't comment on it. Over page, we see some artwork of Clan Goliath gang members, a Hive gang from Necromunda. They have a Mad Max / Cyberpunk 2077 / Final Fight vibe. I think this would be the gang for me if I ever played. I'm going to stop the mini here because I painted a second Brutalis Dreadnought that came in the end of the 9th edition Space Marine box, Strike Force Augustus. This Dreadnought I did in Death Company colours. Very fond of this one, specifically the wet blending of the blues on the talons and the ability to dip into this awesome upgrade sprue and stick some livery on the Dread. This can spin as I dip back into the issue. Death worlds are Imperium planets as deadly as they come. Their lethality can be linked to many aspects such as war, alien invasion, super predators, or natural disasters. An example of a death world is Catachan, a planet consisting solely of jungle and therefore houses megaflora and fauna. Soldiers from death worlds are said to be incredibly formidable due to being born and grown up in such a hostile environment. However, the artwork here displays some Catachan jungle fighters engaged with Khornite demons of the warp not native to the world. I feel this does contradict the text somewhat. Over page, the 2 Space Marine chapter planets that can be considered death worlds are highlighted. Bal, an irradiated desert due to ancient conflicts, have rendered it mostly toxic and is home to the Blood Angels. The nature of the harsh environment is used to test would-be recruits. If successful in surviving, notice I didn't say passing but surviving the trials, the aspirant is then transformed from a hideous chud to a glorious and angelic superhuman warrior. Fenris is equally as lethal, but could kill you in many more ways than Bal's toxic fallout and radioactive scorpions, as it is a combination of frozen and volcanic land masses with an enormous ocean full of sea monsters. The Spaceballs reside here, and like the Blood Angels, use its chapter planet's Death World status to test the natives before letting them join their ranks. I'm gonna have to pause the video here again. I painted a 3rd Dreadnought for this video. This is a Redemptor Dreadnought, and this is also a problem because I don't even remember where and when I bought this. I painted this in Flesh Tearers colours because I already have a Blood Angel Redemptor. This can spin while I dip back into the issue. Successor chapters are Space Marine forces that were created after the Horus Heresy, and therefore are not one of the original 20 legions, but rather succeeded from one of them, as it was deemed that 1,000 Space Marines could not pull off a coup d'etat of the extent that happened 10,000 years previous, would they fall to chaos and turn traitor to the Imperium. The Black Templars pictured here are a successor chapter to the Imperial Fists. Many of these chapters organise and fight like their founding chapter. The Black Templars, however, do not. Firstly, they are forever on crusade and without a home planet, and therefore allowed to recruit initiatives at will. This has given them the ability to overcome the max cap of 1,000 Marines. It is, though, unclear how many Black Templars there actually are. Secondly, the Black Templars do not have Psykers in their ranks. I assume that is Space Marine Librarians, as otherwise I'm not sure how they'd be able to navigate the warp without an astropath. So what I'm saying is that some successor chapters follow tradition, some don't. I'm going to have to pause the video once more, but this is the last time, I swear. I painted a 4th dreadnought for this video. This is a ballistas dreadnought, however this is not mine. It belongs to my good friend, frequent 40k opponent and friend of the channel. I've painted it in Dark Angels colours because that's his chapter. This can take a spin while I dip back into the issue. Over page we have 9 Space Marine successor chapters displayed and described. Some, such as the Flesh Tearers, Raptors, Silver and Black Templars, are well known in lore and tabletop. Others, such as the Sons of Medusa, Unnamed, Wolf Spears, Dark Hunters and Krakens, not so much. Shadow in the Warp describes the presence of a hive mind upon warp sensitive people before a Tyranid hive fleet appears. It is said to be horrifying, manifesting in strange dreams or finding their psychic powers more difficult to use. To represent this, there is a psychic Tyranid further down the page known as a Nero Tyrant. The Shadow in the Warp also disrupts communication, making coordinating defences of the upcoming invasions very difficult. The datasheet abilities in this issue identifies Death Frenzy, which is a mini's, in this case the Tyranid Primed, ability to fight again on the roll of a 4-up. Narratively, this would be the Prime thrashing and slashing around in the throes of death. Disruption Bombardment is a debuffing ability that decreases movement by a given amount. An example of this is the Barbgaunt's Barb Launcher weapon that reduces infantry movement by 2 inches. Skulking Horrors is a termagant ability that represents their skittering movement, and therefore they can once per turn move d6, a useful strategy to avoid close combat. And lastly, Feeding Frenzy belongs to the Psychophage. It gives it +1 to dice rolls for hit and wounding melee combat if the unit it attacks is below starting strength. Scenario 14 Monster Hunt pits the Tyranids against the Space Marines again, but now with the abilities just introduced. Anyway, issue 18 is complete. The next issue comes with a Vanguard Tyranid known as the Parasite and Mortrex. Please like, comment and subscribe as I continue to chronicle the collecting, constructing and creating.